Hello, and welcome to this Amazon QuickSight how-to video. I'm Rob Craig, a solutions architect working here in the UK at AWS to support enterprise customers. Today, I'm going to talk you through the QuickSight custom narrative feature. This feature can be used to provide dynamic natural language summaries of your data, highlighting key trends and insights to your dashboard consumers. So let's get started. For this demo, I have some example data for a fictitious software company. What I've done so far is I've added my sales over time to a line visual. In order to get started with the custom narrative, what I need to do is to add a insight to my visual. So if I go up here and choose Add Insight, QuickSight has a number of built-in computations that can be formed in order to generate an insight. I'm going to select the period over period computation as I'm interested in looking at my month sales compared to my previous month sales. If I select this computation, I can then add in the relevant field wells that I am looking at. So in order to look at month-on-month sales, I'm going to add my order date, change that to month. Then I'm going to add my sales in here. And we can see that the visual is updated with some default text to tell me my total sales for October have decreased compared to the previous month. I'm also going to add in segment to the categories, which is something I'll use later on. You can add any number of these visuals to your dashboard with any of the computations that I've just shown. But what you can do is you can customize these and say what you want, include multiple insights. So if I go here, I can customize the narrative. What this is showing is the text that you saw on the previous screen. You'll see that it's got a couple of conditions in here. So depending on what the computation has returned, it will be dynamic in terms of what is displayed into the text summary. You'll see on the right hand side that you have a number of fields that have been added for the computation that can be used. You'll see that I've got access to the parameters that are available in my analysis, and you'll see there's a set of functions that can be used as well. For the time being, I'm going to leave the initial insight as it is, but actually I want to add some more information to this visual. What I can do is I can add another computation. So I'm actually very interested to see, okay, month on month, are there any of my segments that I'm selling to that have significantly changed or significantly increased in their sales? So I can look at top movers computation. I click on next, you'll see again the fields, so order date by month. I want to categorize it by segment and the sales for those segments. I click on add. And what this has done now is up here, I now have access to a whole set of additional fields that I can use in this visual. I want to start by entering a title. So significant segment changes. And just so the reader knows what month this is referring to, I can use my parameter from my dashboard that's been used in a filter. So I can add my end date. You'll see that it appears in the preview at the bottom as a timestamp. And this is where I can use those functions that I mentioned earlier. So I want to format that date, and I want it to tell me the name of the month, which is 4Ms, and the year. If I click on save, we'll see that the preview at the bottom will update, and I can now see that I've got a dynamic field there based on that parameter. And I'll change that to make it a header. Now I have that, I want to look at what has been returned by that computation. We'll see the additional fields it's added here. And one of those additional fields that is added is called items count. So it's gone and done that computation for my top movers. And actually it might be that for a given month, there might not be any segments that have significantly increased in sales. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to check whether this is 0. To do this, I can go up to here and I can add in a block if. So this allows me to do an if statement. And what I want to check is I want to check this, and I want to say whether that is equal to 0, and save that. And then I can say, so if it's 0, I know there aren't any segments that have significantly changed. So I can say there are no significant segment changes this month. So that will appear when the computation is run and it doesn't think there's anything that's significantly changed. So then I can come down here and I can put another block if in, and I can say if this is greater than 0. And again, so I'm going to say something different, whether there was one or more than one segment that's significantly changed. So I can say there, and then I can do an inline if, just to check again to see whether that is equal to 1. So if it is equal to 1, I know there was one segment with significant changes. And then I can say another one to say if this was greater than 1, I can say were. I can include the actual count itself. So there were segments, correct my typo, with significant changes. I can put a colon on the end. So we can now look at the preview at the bottom and we can actually see that there was one segment this month for October 21 with the change. So I can go here, and now to display what that is, what this computation does is any of those items, it keeps in an array here. So to access that array, I can insert a for loop, and just to access it and loop over it, I can click on that. And then I just need to say what I want to say for each of the items. So I will use the category value. So this will be the segment name. So include that. So enterprise sales increased. I've got the percentage difference, so I can add in the percentage. I also have the current and previous values, so the current month and the previous month's values. So I can say that they increased from and what they increased to by selecting the current metric value. So there we can see that for October 2021, we can see that there was a decrease in sales, but actually within the month there was actually quite an increase in the enterprise sales. What I want to do now is, in the same way that we have done the top movers, I want to add in the bottom movers to see any segments of mine that are significantly decreasing in sales. I can do that in exactly the same way by adding a new computation. So I want to do that, and I also want to do a bit of changes to the formatting. So I'm going to go away and do that, and I'll come back to show you what that looks like. So here we go. We can now see that I have added a title. I've made some changes to the initial insight that we added. I've also added some colors to make it clearer to my consumers of the dashboard what they're seeing. And I've added the bottom movers in exactly the same way as we added the top movers. And you can see that in the preview below. So if I now save this, we'll see that that's appeared on my analysis. So I can then start changing my filters on my analysis. And I can then see for each month, I can see the overall change in month-on-month sales, and I can see which segments are contributing either positively or negatively to that change. This carries through, so if I then share my analysis and publish it to the dashboard for people to view, you'll see that this is the view that the consumers of my dashboard would get exactly the same way. I can filter that and very quickly see that impact on sales. I could continue to build that out and add in additional insights. For example, I could do a similar thing for region, or I could be looking at forecasting values that could be added into there, and I could think about what my consumers and my dashboards want to see and add all of that into a free text summary so people don't have to hunt for information that they're regularly looking for and can quite quickly see what's going on with the data. Thank you for watching. For more how-to videos, please visit the YouTube channel and let us know how you get on.